Welcome in, everyone, to another stream. We are in session 78 of our Seregen campaign. And we have four of the five adventurers that normally uh, benefit our presence, or we benefit from. That's and my cat is biting my arm. This is an interesting intro, but let's let them introduce themselves while I figure this out.
Hello. I think this thing's working. Hello, I am the Banewall. I'm currently full of beans, chili beans, and I play Belzian Gilkis, the half-elf monk. Hiya! With spice.
I'm Avidus, and I play Roger Mays, the Wood Elf Assassin. And I would be perfectly willing to spend hours debating beans and what constitutes chili and what goes in chili.
Well, haven't you done that before? Would that be a bean there, done that?
Ha
I'm I forgot my damn name. I'm Shade, and I'm playing Ulrich, the vampire paladin. I'm also eating chili, but in a different part of the world from good old Belzian or Banewall. And I too would spend hours debating what makes a good chili. So let's do that.
Stream?
Let's do that. Let's do that in any downtime that we have.
This break time will be chili debate time.
Absolutely.
Yarvik is not with us tonight, but normally is played by Jaeger and is a halfling ranger.
Tonight he will be played by a kidney bean.
No kidding.
I'm Atomic. I play Zippo, the kobold sorcerer, and I think Zippo would be okay with chili, depending on who makes it.
I
don't think I would trust chili from like most people in the party, but I would try it at least.
And Banewall, thank you for subscribing. I love Chili and also D&D and sounds okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that support. And now you won't get ads next time you check. So benefit.
It's a win-win.
And I, of course, am the Wombat of DM, here tonight to not talk about chili, but am the proud title holder of several chili competitions. So someday we'll have to talk about that. And I can share my recipe even, because I don't care if other people have it, despite it winning. So that being said, let's talk D&D. We, as I said, are on session 78. Last time we had a guest star. We had Erasmus come in and grace us with his presence. He was the leader of the Adventurers Guild, and we, the party, joined the Adventurers Guild. They had a conversation with him. There was the party was able to rest for the night, so if you haven't clicked that long rest icon, make sure you do that now. And Roger, you heard something in the middle of the night, didn't you?
Maybe. Roger may have heard something in the middle of the night. Yes, I remember. For Roger, it's been like 3 hours. For Amadeus, it has been a week. Some undead got out last night of unknown kind and origin and killed some people. I think we're talking 6 deaths across the city before they managed to track them all down.
Yeah. So, yeah, a few things going on in that way. So some undead got out and were subsequently killed. There was, I think, 6 in all that you heard about. It started from 1. And then, let's see, what else happened? Party got a good bit of information about not only... well, I mean, Ulrich, you had a good bit of backstory interaction with some of your stuff regarding trolls, and you folks did learn a bit more about the current climate within Licht. Yeah, some good stuff. Any takeaways that I didn't mention?
I think that we got sorry, we were formally inducted into the guild, and we each said an oath,
Yep.
which was thoughtfully done for some of us, and
Carelessly
and
for others.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's not like I have to worry about making oaths or anything.
Yeah, so Ulrich, our vampire buddy, who's under the force of the vampires in this setting, when they make a promise, it's forcibly kept as part of their I guess it's a feature of the race. I, I wouldn't call it a necessarily a benefit, but it could be for a few things. But yeah, so Ulrich made a swear to protect this dog's serenity as well as the people she represents, who are the common people of Seregen. So that caused a chill to go down Ulrich's sign, which is the telltale sign in the setting that a oath has been sworn. So, but the good news is, being part of the guild has benefited the group with a permanent, once per day, reroll on a d20 die, an advantage roll on one die. So it's basically like you have permanent inspiration in addition to your inspiration. So that is definitely pretty cool. So congratulations on getting that, as well as many of the other things that we did last time. But yeah, that's where the party is at present. I do need to take a step away for a moment, so I will let the party start discussing what they want to do next, because the world is your porpoise. I'll be back.
The world is our bowl of chili.
I gotta say, after this meeting with Wolfgang, and we all made some food together, we are now all foodies, the whole party, and the quest has been derailed by the quest for chili.
Indeed. I mean,
We could use blood tomatoes for Ulrich.
I can't remember the end of last session incredibly well. Did Roger tell the rest of the party about the things that he overheard last night?
I believe you did.
Yeah, I think it
Okay,
was
yeah.
shared amongst us, and we're gonna, look into it if we can, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
there
we
was
have a
some worry that
duty to the common folk to
We
investigate
do.
this sort of thing, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we do.
sucks. Yeah, you were slightly worried it may have been related to some vampire killing that went on.
Yeah.
Well, you
But
know,
it wasn't, as far as we can tell.
if we have to kill monsters,
So we
Oh,
got
shucks.
lots of Licht to look around. If we have any destination we'd like to go, we can always investigate the way we got in here. But I think we might have gotten everything out of that.
if only it was still around. Although, in fairness, destroying it may have saved like several demons from chasing us. So I'm 50-50 on that having been a bad idea, actually.
Pretty sure they're still on the way here. It's just gonna take them longer.
Taking them longer is all we need.
We just need
Well,
them for the
apparently-
part. We can leave them for the town to deal with.
Allied forces are like 5 days away, but like how long until those demon folk show up? We don't really know. But
Imagine how much cooler we will look if we kill a bunch of demons without an army, in front of a lot of people who can attest that we were the ones who did it.
if it's just those three, I'm feeling pretty confident.
All right. Well, Wombat's still away, so I'm going to be right back. Also.
Okay. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I'm for going ahead and exploring this option because I think it will give us a chance to um to potentially talk with the guard that we need to talk to, and
Robin.
and I feel like it will probably ultimately lead us back to Dara's Keep anyway.
Take the scenic route.
Yeah.
Because we were here yesterday. We did our things.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's like
In your office, so-
things that I need to do in the city, right? Other
Well,
than
That's what we were understanding is there is a city with things to do in it if we want to.
right.
We could have like another shopping montage or something. We ran out of time the one time, but Belzian was going to try to drag Zippo and Yarvik to a Temple of the 12.
Oh.
Good luck, but I feel like they'd both be like, nah.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
I mean, you could probably get Yarvik to a Temple of the 12.
Only if they have sausages, right? Holy sausages.
Is there not? I mean, I'd have to look through the gods again, but I'm pretty sure at least one of them we can justify as being a god of sausage.
So I am considering the fact that Yarvik is out this session as a potential opportunity for Yarvik to get nice and familiar with his new toy, the smoker. I could see him potentially just abandoning all else to test out his smoker and make the party dinner.
That's fun.
So I might do that. How does everybody feel about that?
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it probably will be fine.
Yeah, that tracks.
Ultimately, if you want Yarvik to do anything else, feel free to let me know, and I can puppet him for sure. Just want to see if that was a good alternative for now.
Well, we'll have to run out and fetch him if we end up in combat somehow, but
For sure. All right. So what did I miss? Anything?
Not a ton. We were just kind of talking about maybe going ahead and checking out the undead situation, and then going from there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but how do we check out an undead situation other than just asking around? Seen any zombos lately?
I feel like speaking with the guards would be the way to go.
Some investigation.
Yeah.
If we're still at the Adventurers Guild, Belzian will try to take an opportunity to read as much of that little library as possible before we go. But that's a thing he can do.
All right. So what's first on the matter at hand?
well, we promised to go talk to Lord Dara. I don't know if the guards are expecting to collect us here or if they want us to report to them, but it'll probably be faster for us to report to them.
And by way of going to the guards, we can just check in and say, hey, maybe we can help out with this undead situation.
We are adventurers after all. Put us on an adventure.
Okay. So does from what I'm hearing, the party wants to leave the guild and head over to the west gate or the east gate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We
Sounds good.
make a gracious exit, thanking whoever needs to be thanked.
Wolfgang and others.
Yeah.
We just finished a hearty drinking session, so we're good to go.
Yeah, morning brew.
We're seasoned adventurers. This is the sort of thing we do all the time.
We fit right in.
You don't end up with a Constitution 16 by not waking up in the morning and pounding back a couple of tankards of ale.
That's right, kids. Do you want to lead a life of adventure? Get fucking drunk in the morning.
Beer. It's what's for breakfast.
I start my day by
your
passing
cereal
2
and your
fortitude
gravy.
saves.
We put the A in AD&D. All right.
But yeah, let's go to the guards.
So you step outside. It is raining out this morning. It is wet and unpleasant. It's been a bit since you've encountered weather. It's been probably somewhere around like a month since you last had it be raining. So it's definitely not something you missed, but some of you probably are thinking, well, it's about time, maybe even worrying about drought. So that being said, I guess the region has been pretty thoroughly wetted from the wall coming down. So, some of that, but it is definitely outright raining. It's not like a downpour, but it's it's rain. It's not a drizzle. It's not a thunderstorm. It's just rain. So, the roads themselves are cobbled, so they're muddy and pooling at sections, but ultimately, it's not inconvenient to travel as if it was Jewel, where it's a soppy mess all the time. So, and more so even now, right? You head down the path of Adventurer's Rest, and to the East Gate, where you see 2 guards admitting folks into town and keeping a watchful eye on those who enter and leave. The Tabaxi guard that you met yesterday is still not still there, but there again. You didn't see him toward the end of the shift yesterday, so he's back for his day of work. And if you recall, this Tabaxi guard had one arm missing. So, he kind of flags down the party as you're approaching.
We'll wave back and head towards him, or at least Roger will.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. The Tabaxi looks at you urgently and says, Lieutenant Robbins told me to send you to the West Gate when you came through this morning.
To the West Gate? Has something happened?
He didn't say. He just said when the party awakes to send them his way.
Understood. And pardon me, what's the best way to get there at this time of day? I know the city can be a little busy.
Well, so this is your main road here, and he points down. You can kind of see just to the edge of the street where it starts to curve. You can see the open area that goes up toward Dara's Keep. You follow that around the bend, it'll take you straight through the main bridge into the town center. Then there's going to be the Keep Road that goes from the West Gate straight to Dara's Keep. You'll grab that road and take it straight on to the West Gate.
Oh, understood. Shall we?
Yeah.
While we're walking through the city, Roger, once we're out of eyeshot and earshot of the guards at the gate, Roger's going to motion to everybody to hide their guild symbols.
Good boy. And Ulrich will hide his pin. His bad.
Yeah, Zippo
Yeah,
will
the
too.
badge just comes off like nothing at all.
And Roger will hide his own, of course.
But pray tell, why, Roger?
As I said last night, we've got some information that Dara may not be super happy about the Adventurers Guild, and we don't want to poke at old wounds necessarily. Even though we have the truth of the story now, still seems like it might not be best to indicate our involvement there at all. If he asks, we can tell him if you want to, but I don't think there's any need.
Gotcha.
All right.
Onwards then.
Feel free to move your figures around if you'd like. So you're heading to the west gate, I assume. Any stops on the way, or just heading straight there?
Just head straight there.
Okay, I see.
Make any notes of any temples to the 12 along the way?
Yeah, there's actually 3 churches in Lichte.
Wow.
There's a temple to the 12, and then there's 2 smaller churches. One is for just for Wander. There's a and that's in Wanderlust actually. And then the other one is for the 6 pairings of gods instead of the 12.
Interesting. Are any like along the way to the west gate?
You spot the one of Wanderlust. It's this black building here. As you're going through this past here, you can kind of spot the church and its courtyard in front of it. The main church is here, and then you can kind of see as you're going over the bridge the one that's of the 6 out here.
Okay. Belzian smiles at them along the way, but we got other things to do.
Other things of note, the black buildings obviously are things of note. So this black building here is, it seems like to be where the guard headquarters is. So the police station, if you will. The other ones you have not interacted with. So you'll have to investigate that on your own. All right. So the west gate is actually, the main road is clear of stores, of areas where stores, but stores I mean stalls. So several of you have been in this area. Ulrich most of all. Ulrich, you recall yesterday this street was fairly crowded and there was a lot of different makeshift shops kind of set up, right, selling wares and things of that nature. Today, there's nothing of the sort. So insteed of, it seems like the town has been, this main road has been cleared of all of those, what's the markets, those open markets, they've all been cleared.
Well, that's not a good sign.
No, that's definitely not.
It is still, there are still throngs of people around. Some people are murmuring, kind of concerned. But it seems like most of the people who might have done their shopping here, or the people who were selling their wares here, are probably elsewhere at another location, perhaps. Because it's that traffic is all but not there. It's mainly throngs of people coming in, or kind of milling about, or begging, or looking for work, things like that. That sort.
Looking around, do we see Captain Robin?
Lieutenant Robin is,
Or Lieutenant Robin?
You can spot him up on top of the gate, talking to the 2 guards that are up there. Ulrich, you recall yesterday, those guards did not sit at the base of the gate like the guards at Adventurers Rest did. These ones always stayed up on top. You recall last night they were preparing to close the gate when you were in the area. Roger, you would recall this too,
Gotcha.
for obvious reasons.
Well,
Yeah, we should head on up, say hi.
yeah, sounds reasonable. Lead the way.
Of course.
We could go
And
up the
Ulrich.
stairs, or we could just run up the walls.
You know what?
We could do
wouldn't-
one of those things or the other.
I'm gonna take the stairs, but I'd love it if you ran up the wall.
I'll race you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll race you.
All right.
And when Belzian reaches the top of the wall, the hard way, you can struggle to get to the top of the stairs and then go, ha, beat you to the top of the stairs.
So are we doing this? Belzian, are you going to race him up?
We're going up to speak to the guards.
Okay. So, Belzian, are you going the normal way or going up the wall?
Oh, running up the wall, of course.
Okay.
Not
So-
dramatically or anything like that. Just
So,
like it's-
Belzian, runs up the wall. Just
And you remember Super Mario World for the SNES, where Mario could like run up the side? It's like that. It's just the thing that happens.
Is there a little wedge block at the base that you
That's-
need? To...
yeah.
Got a little smiley face on it.
All right. So while Belzian's doing that, Ulrich, you approach the kind of the guardhouse door, right, to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you find that door locked.
God damn it.
Belzian, you get up. You find Ulrich down at the bottom with the rest of the group, kind of like looking up and like, well, I did not
What you
think
guys
this through.
doing down there?
They locked the door.
You were wrong, Belzian. We could not take the stairs or walk up the wall. Only one of those options was viable.
All right, Belzian. So the three members of the guard have turned to look at you. One of the guards says, "Hey, you're not allowed up here. Get off the wall." But Robbins stops him. His name's Sparrow Robbins. That's just going to be the official name because I debated between both, and I keep mixing them up. So he's Sparrow Robbins.
Lieutenant Robbins. Sparrow Robbins.
He's Robin Sparrows, maybe. Yeah, one of the two.
I was gonna say the other one's surely Robin Sparrows if this is Sparrow Robbins.
Right. Yeah. So
one of them's a lieutenant, the other one's a right tenant.
So yeah, it looks like Robbins recognizes you and stops the guy and says, "No, I asked him to come. Not exactly this way, but he looks down. Ah, there's the rest of them. Where's your friend, the halfling?"
Back at the inn.
Okay.
He's got some new toys.
Do we need him specifically, or is it okay if we speak on his behalf?
I just wanted to make sure he was okay. There's been a few folks that there was a few incidents last night. I just wanted to make sure he was safe.
I overheard something of the sort myself. Some undead in the city?
He just like motions like this and like looks around because you're calling up from the wall and he's at the top. He hasn't let you in yet, and he kind of like motions to stop talking, and he hurries down to let the rest of you in through the door.
Oh, sorry. What I said was that this gate is looking pretty. Pretty well fortified. And
It's hard to
secure.
find a bed in this city.
The door opens and he motions you in, exasperated.
I'm beginning to wonder if we should have drank so much this morning.
We are the classic heroes rolling up, smelling of ale.
Roger, you your keen ears pick up that several people heard you and are whispering to other folks nearby. Secret is out. If it wasn't already.
Judging by the crowds and how the guards are all freaking out, everybody knows something is up. Now we've just started another rumor,
Well,
but there were already rumors.
the undead can keep a secret if 6 are dead,
Wait, no.
or something like that.
All right, so he brings you up to the top of the wall with Belzian and the other two guards. The other two guards are kind of looking at Belzian like, how the fuck did you get up here? But don't really ask you.
They didn't watch his majestic run?
No, they did not. They were too busy talking to the lieutenant.
You said it was raining, right?
Yes.
Is it like a heavier rain up here now or no?
Still steady.
Okay. I'm going to do a storm guide to stop the rain in a 20-foot radius around me
Okay.
so that we can just stand here without having the rain hit us.
Sounds good. The clouds open up in specifically the area around the party and the two guards. And they kind of look up and they kind of look around at each of you. Is there a semantic or verbal component for that spell?
Doesn't say there is. It's just an ability.
Okay.
It says it subtly controls the weather around me.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a spell, it's just the storm sorcerer ability,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have.
If you want,
they
I'm okay
kind of-
with there being like a little like lightning in around me or something to show that I'm doing it. If
No.
if you want.
No. I'm more trying to see if it's obvious to them that you did it or not. So.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like it's obvious. They kind of. I guess take it as good luck or wonder or whatever, but they happily enjoy the dryness of not being on top of a wall in the rain. Once you're all settled, Robin says, "Thank you for coming."
Now we gave our word. You've been kind to us thus far.
So, a few things to let you know about. Lord Dara has requested your audience. He expects you to visit within the hour. If after I was done my duty here, I hadn't seen you come, I would have come to let you know.
I'm happy to see my cousin.
That's right, your cousins. Hopefully that will put him in a better mood. With the fire,
We'll see about that.
with the fire yesterday, and the unrest that's been happening for the past few weeks. And also he was enjoying retirement before his son went off to war. So he's not in his best mindset. Just as a heads up.
Well, yeah, no, that makes sense.
So we, as you correctly identified, had an undead incident last night. I don't know how they got within the walls. The gates were closed. We're lucky that it didn't spread further, only 6. I assume there's a culprit. Seemed to have come from a single source. Might be connected to the demon portal that you came through on. Seems dark magic is afoot in multiple areas of the city.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, where exactly where'd it happen?
What kind of undead?
They're just
Ghosts?
they're the common. Fortunately, they weren't wights or ghouls. They were just common zombie. So fairly easily dispatched once we knew that what they were and where they were. But the
Dark magics indeed.
undead like that, it's not 1 or 2 that's the problem. It's the more
They
the
multiply.
yeah.
How? You said you've tracked down the source and dealt with it.
Well, the freshest corpses we could track which were bit by which. We just had one that did not have a bite mark at all. They were just marred by a blade on their neck. It seems like there were some other bodies in the area, but ultimately this is the only one that was undead and seemed to be injured in some way.
That sounds like the work of a necromancer.
Yeah, that's my fear as well.
I will definitely keep our eyes out for any dark magic.
I've interviewed each of the guards to report their happenings on the evening of last night. And he turns and he looks at you, Ulrich, and he says, one of my guards said that you were in Westlick last night. Did you see anything?
Nothing related to necromancy. People. I gave some money out here and there, and tried to do good by the people that were in need, and had a few who were a little more persistent. But beyond that, no.
You were attacked last night?
I'm fine.
Are they?
I couldn't say. I mean, I got away.
I think that justifies a check.
Mm-hmm. 18.
So, has your town had many problems with the undead before? Is it a constant thing, or is this a relatively new sighting?
See, that's the thing. Since yesterday, this is the first real attack we've had in as long as I can remember. We haven't ever had any undead sightings within the walls. I'm only familiar with them because in a previous life I once went around the area and killed things such as that. There used to be many types of undead in the barrens to the east, excuse me. Sorry, a little shooken up. Never thought I'd see him in the walls, though. It better not be a citizen of this city. It better not.
It better not, indeed.
Or I almost feel like, forgive me, It'd almost be worse if it wasn't a citizen of the city, because I might stir unrest.
Yeah,
I
just
think we're a little late for unrest not being stirred.
just some rando.
People, crowds were odd this morning. There clearly are already rumors.
That's fair.
Well, since the attacks happened close to here, we cleared the street. It happened. There's a few attacks just south of here, a couple blocks down. Unfortunately, we don't have enough manpower to have someone on every turret of the wall. Otherwise, that area might have been spotted sooner, and we might have been able to avoid all this. But 6, I'll take. I wouldn't want to take any, but I'll take 6 over 60. We identified one of the bodies in the barn, or at least one of the heads. Belonged to one of the stable boys that worked at that barn that disappeared 4 weeks ago. I think it was 4 weeks ago.
Maybe your necromancer is in league with the demons, or perhaps some demons with control over the undead are responsible. We know that those bodies were part of the portal the demons were using.
So they
Wonder
found
how many
this
others have
stable
gone
boy's
missing.
body part at the place that he disappeared from.
Actually, it was, I think, more like 2 weeks ago. I can't keep track of everything anymore. It could be related. It could not. There's nothing that ties the two except that they happened at a similar time. Yeah, I'm not sure.
And they both involve dark magics being done to dead bodies of missing people.
I mean, it would be nice that they were connected, but usually it doesn't. It doesn't work out like that. It's usually more complicated.
It's never that convenient. No. Well, is there anything we can do to help you with this? I know you've primarily called us here to send us on to Lord Dara. But
I guess keep an eye out for anything you can find out about either these demons, if they might have caused this, or something else that might have caused the undead, and let me know. But we should. I've got my best men working on it. We should be all right. Hopefully, it doesn't crop up again, and maybe just us being vigilant will drive whatever it is that caused trouble out of the city. Or maybe if we're just more vigilant, it won't happen again.
Roger nods, although it's maybe obvious from his body language that he's not really buying into the the theory from Lieutenant Robbins. And he says, well, we're going to be here for at least another couple of days, if not another week. Assuming Lord Dara lets us stay, that is. If you discover something you don't think the guard can handle, let us know.
I might just do that. I'll let you know.
And it sounds like we have an appointment to keep, and you're also very busy. Anything else for us before we leave, so we don't keep Lord Dara waiting?
Um, so yeah, based on what you've been kind of interacting with, Sparrow's Sparrow seems distracted. Um, right? He's not really looking at each of you. Um, as you're talking, like he'll glance your way, but for the most part, he's kind of looking out at the city, um, this way and that, kind of keeping an eye on things. Um, like nudging a guard to keep a watch and things like that when they turn to have their full attention on the party, or putting their arms toward the fire because they're warming up from and that being in the rain. um, so he kind of distractedly um, says, I can't think of anything else right now, but I'll probably be in this area all day. I guess I should sleep at some point, but uh,
Yeah, no good to your people if you fall over from exhaustion.
that's what healing's for.
Well, you're in charge. I think we'd best get going. And Roger kind of looks at the rest of the party.
Stay sharp, Lieutenant.
Robbins is clearly a man outside of his depth, thrust into a situation. Being that Lieutenant, you get the sense, based on the fact that he's the only one you've interacted with. You haven't met somebody of higher, and he hasn't referred to anybody higher than him, um, except for the Lord. It seems like Lieutenant's the highest this town has right now.
He's the guy.
He's the guy.
To the keep?
We didn't pass any cemeteries or anything of the like on the way to the west gate, did we?
Yeah, that actually, I'm curious. Where are the dead buried
It's a good
in
question.
Licht?
Maybe they're just thrown into a fire.
We could do a religion check if you'd like.
I could attempt a religion check.
You could also do history.
You could help me with a religion check.
My history is not going to be any better, and I rolled reasonably well, so I'm just going to say I got a 14 and be done with it.
So, Roger, you are more familiar with disposing bodies in unofficial ways, or allowing other people to dispose of the bodies and clean up after you. The most familiar you are with disposing of bodies is when the practice was of disposing them in the wall. So, ultimately, you haven't had the very many folks in a not wartime capacity, but in wartime, they were usually transported, if the bodies could be, during lulls in battle, transported back to their hometown eventually. If not, it would be a keepsake or something, a relic of the dead that would go back home and would usually sit on mantles, things like that. Bodies during the war were mass graves, things like that.
Yeah.
You haven't been in a town, so you're not sure if each town is different or not, but you know that the elves have their own burying rituals, and that's what you're most familiar with as well. And since you are the elf, I will allow you to provide me with some of that lore if you'd like, at least what your family did. How would your family have buried your dead?
Roger grew up poor, so I'm guessing most of the dead in his family would be infants.
Hmm.
Underneath trees.
Yep.
Or shrubs. Yeah. Elves live a long time. It's not likely that they die of natural causes, so
Right.
Most of Roger's relatives and friends growing up probably died wartime deaths, or from sickness, or as infants.
All right. Anybody else making the check? Zippo, you know how your families or how your people disposed of bodies. You sent them down the river. That was actually, yeah, you're the only person to write that into your lore. So
Just chuck them in the river. Everything goes in the river.
Everything floats down here eventually. I would like to make a history check.
Ulrich,
The dead in general, since Belzian wasn't in the war, but the monastery would have had to deal with that.
Have I just forgotten how dead are buried
so
because I'm now undead?
yeah, I think what that role is mainly you just kind of more preoccupied at present with how you disposed of the bodies from last night, and
Yeah.
that's all you can think about. And that's what's on your mind.
All right.
Bane,
Meanwhile, between me and you, if we roll 18 more times, we'll get there.
Only going up.
Bane, with your history check, the people at the monastery were buried in a traditional cemetery at the monastery with singular graves, and the graves had listings of accomplishments, actually very similar to in some ways the list of accomplishments that were with the Adventurers Guild. Just on tombstones, it would say what they meant to people. So for example, one such mentor might have been reader of books, father of two, husband of several, or whatever the case might be, right? So ultimately, that's kind of all you know, right? You haven't really been in a traditional setting aside from this adventurer or the monastery, right? That's your whole life. So, yeah.
It is what it is.
So yeah,
Except when it
none of
isn't.
you know how this town disposes of their bodies.
I guess that's a question we could ask Lieutenant Robbins before we leave.
Okay.
Where are all the dead people?
Oh, he's doubling back. So Roger, just to double back, go ahead and ask the question.
I feel like I don't understand what that's a reference to.
I mean, you know how like in cop shows, like so we're like, okay, thanks for answering all my questions, and then they start walking out of the room. Just to
One
double
more
back.
thing.
Yeah.
Just one more thing.
Where does Licht have a cemetery, or what does the city do with their dead? If we're investigating into necromancers, or might need to, it seems like that might be important information to have.
There are barrows outside of the city.
Roger nods. Cool, thanks.
So yeah, burial mounds that would be added to over time. So think of it like a crypt, but a little bit less permanent.
Yeah. Not too different from what Roger's community would have done in Religion.
You don't got any more of them dead bodies? All right. So at that sombering thought, the group leaves the guardhouse the same way they came in. Belzian running back down the wall, and the rest of the party walking down the stairs, I assume.
Yeah, before we leave, Zippo will cancel the circle.
You hear some groans from the guards as the fire starts to hiss at the rain dripping down back on it again. They
Doing my part.
huddle under their oiled skins, and you go on your way.
A bit of a grim thought. Maybe when they're done with us, they'll just throw us in the ground. I mean, I hope so. If there's enough of us left to throw in the ground.
He did when you asked him about the barrows, he did point north when he did that. So out north of the gate. So not something you can see from where you were at, but it seems like they're maybe north of town.
Okay, that's good to note.
Worth mentioning, that's the direction of the wall, so it would have been a direction people would have been.
Wall would have
maybe
been more east of you, remember. Eventually also north, yes, because remember it's diagonal.
I would say it's in every direction. Yeah. Every direction but west.
So I can actually, I'll show you the original map just for old time's sake. So yes, eventually north, but mostly east and south.
So I think actually southeast is the closest direction to the wall.
Yeah, correct.
We crossed back into Seregen somewhere over here.
Yeah, and we teleported this way.
We went to these ruins, I think.
It wasn't those ruins, but it was ruins like them.
These are my ruins. There are many like them.
But this one is mine.
Maybe one day we'll have some ruins. Okay, so the barrows are a point of interest that we can check out if we got some time to kill. Maybe some necromancers to kill. Ooh.
But we do have an appointment with Dara first.
Indeed.
To the keep.
All right. So you beelining it to the keep.
He said within the hour, so
Yeah. Just making sure. I know how this group likes to take side trips sometimes. All right, you pass through the main area and down the Keep's Road, up the hill to Dara's Keep. There are 4 guards guarding the entrance to Dara's Keep. They seem to be in the best kept armor that you've seen of the town guard. They're more full plate instead of half and chainmail and leather. And they hold weapons that look like they could do some damage. These fighters seem to be a little bit more experienced and seem to be able to handle themselves, as opposed to the ones that were easily distracted at the gate. Or the one that had one arm missing, right? So ultimately, not to say that he couldn't handle himself with one arm, but generally speaking, if you're putting people at your gate, you want to make sure that they have as much capabilities as possible, right? So trying not to be ableist there. Ulrich, do you do anything as the group approaches, or are you letting the guards stop you?
I mean, they're just doing their job. Ulrich will wait, and you know, he's not looking to spook them.
Sure. Well, I mean, because you in the past when you've interacted with guards, you've flashed your ring. I wasn't sure if you're going to do the same here or not to kind of
He'll
get access.
he'll let it play out.
Okay.
You know, he's not trying to show. He's not trying to flex here.
Yes.
He's just, he's acknowledging his cousin's power in this place.
Mm-hmm.
So when they stop us, he'll respond accordingly.
Okay, sounds good. And they do stop you. They ask you to state your business.
Hello, Ulrich Oak and Earth. These are my traveling companions. We have been summoned by Lord Dara.
Ah, yes, he's been expecting you. I was told there would be 5 of you.
Unfortunately, our 5th member is indisposed at this time. He's not feeling well this morning.
We are prepared to speak on his behalf.
Yeah.
If that's required.
He trusts us.
No, I'm just going off of what I've been told.
Well,
He nods and he says, "I will take you." And he about faces and begins walking smartly into the keep at a brisk but not urgent pace, efficient pace.
Say Roger and Belzian easily keep up with them and the rest of you.
Yeah, like every step we take, we have to take like a half step, so it looks like we're just limping.
oh, what's your movement speed?
Me, 35 feet. Wood elves are faster.
Ulrich's pretty fast too.
I've got a 40 movement speed, friend.
Oh, is that from being a vampire?
No, that's from leveling up at one point
Ah, okay.
and taking a feat.
Hey, Brunhild's got a 40-foot speed too.
What? Those little legs go that fast?
How am I the slowest person here?
Jarvik's not here today.
No,
Brunhild is back at the guild anyway, so Zippo is as fast as you.
Oh, I thought I was riding Brunhild.
Nope.
Oh, damn! I was here trying to lord my incredibly small mobility advantage, and I just don't have it anymore.
We can still call you Roger the Quick if you'd like.
Thank you. That would mean a lot for my ego.
Oh, fast Roger.
We're saying it ironically now. So.
Thank you. That would mean a lot for my ego.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so the keep itself is a complex of. It looks like it used to be one structure that has been built upon, so that several structures are now kind of connected to it. So ultimately, the main keep, the main entrance is actually on the other side of from the front gate. So if somebody were to siege this building, they would have to circle around the courtyard and come in from the back. There is a large balcony that is on the 3rd story that overlooks the gate. You can see that maybe some grander chambers with some larger windows are there, but ultimately this keep is situated in a defensive position. It's on a hill. You have to kind of fight through the city to get to it, and then even when you get to the keep, the siege is on the other side. So, yeah. Some things to note. So you're led around and into the keep. The keep is modestly decorated. It's not lavish. It's simple. It seems fairly. If there's something present, it seems to have a purpose. There's not really much in the way of decor, except for bearing the Dara insignia, which is actually, funnily enough, based on the history that you know of the Dara family, a boar head. All right. So that being said, you see a man who is Ulrich, how tall are you, out of curiosity?
Ulrich is a grand height of. Where's that now on the sheet? Wait, what? Sorry, I think he's 6'2", but I'm trying to. Oh, there we go. Weird. 6'3", actually.
Okay. So he doesn't tower over you, Ulrich, but he is 6'5". Despite being an older gentleman, he doesn't have. He's kind of wiry and tall. So he's kept some of that spryness. He's got a very straight back as he waits at the top of a staircase that leads to another floor from the entrance. He's kind of looking down at the group, one hand on one of the arms, railings of the stair. Well, if it isn't my cousin coming to pay me a visit. And I see you've brought some friends.
Yeah, well, we've been on a little bit of a mission for the capital for some time now, and well, here we are by well, to eventually. I was going to say by happenstance, but I suppose we are somewhat aimed here, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, come on up.
There's mighty kind of you. He goes up. Would it be? What would be the like? Would it be common for Ulrich to genuflect or something like that, or what sorts of formalities would be expected?
So while he is your cousin, he is older than you.
Higher standing, yeah.
So by what, like 20 years? If he's 65,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere around there.
Something like that. I think it's like 25 years or something.
And I guess in this case, since his son's actually more your age, he might be more like a instead of a cousin.
Ulrich's only 37, actually.
What was that?
Ulrich's only 37, actually.
Okay. Okay, so his son is your age. Because his son is 37. So,
okay.
Yeah, so he's kind of more your father, your parents' age. So his son is your cousin. He's the father of your cousin.
Right.
Since I don't have cousins, I actually don't know what that is. Is that uncle?
Is he my father's brother or my mother's brother or anything like that?
So not directly. It's more like you're from a similar line at one time, and that that trail has gone into two different families.
I mean, in that case, it's probably like more like distant cousin
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like twice removed kind of
Yeah,
bullshit.
Correct. Depending on how far back that is, you may just have a vague sense of relation, or
Right.
you might
Yeah.
you might be able to trace exactly when those families split off, like which set of siblings that happened at.
That's exactly the case, and as noble families predictably
Oh,
would
yeah,
be, right?
absolutely, yes. Noble
Um,
families would know,
Yeah.
but whether that's in living memory or not would kind of be whether or not you call yourselves. This is my uncle effectively, right? And I grew up with him as being an uncle, or this
right.
is my
Exactly.
cousin so many times removed.
Yeah. So he's cousin based on the fact that the Dara family and the Oakenhearth family are distantly related. So they've always referred to each other as cousins. I'm sure there's other noble families within the realm of Seregen that also have relations to each other that do not, as a rule, call each other cousins. So
Mhm.
in this case, it seems like the families have um, at least associated with each other. Um,
Right.
the at least until the war happened, since you were both on separate sides of the war.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, Ulrich will show the appropriate formalities that he needs to show.
Okay. So, give me a little bit about that. Are you kind of treating him more like an equal or deferring to him a bit?
I think Ulrich, it is his home, Dara's home, so Ulrich will defer to him a little bit. He was fed last night. I think he has a little bit more of his humanity going for him. Um, so, so yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. All right, so he leads the party into the area that I kind of mentioned earlier. It's a room with tall windows. There's a table, a dining table. It has a few pastries in the center and some fresh fruit in some nice looking pottery, potentially maybe from the um, uh, uh, this is potentially some of the pottery that they're not, or sorry, that Lichte is famous for. Excuse me. Um, but ultimately, you can see that this room, uh, out the window, you can kind of see an overlook of the whole of Licht from over the keep's wall. You can see, since you're on a hill, kind of the town spreading out, the city spreading out before you. All right, Ulrich, all right. So what does Marius want? I gave him my son. Uh, why are you here?
Well,
You said you were on a
really,
mission for the kingdom, and well, currently we don't have a king, so I assume that's Marius. So
well, yeah,
Technically, we're on our way back. And
yeah.
heard he
So,
was.
I believe I haven't caught your name, friend. He says, with no hint of friendliness in the friend.
Roger has dealt with nobles before, though it's been a little while.
You've
And
spoken with the queen recently, so
yes, but we were actually trying to be friends with her. We're just trying to get out of this conversation now. Roger bows, uh, enough for it not to be an insult, um, and introduces himself. My name is Roger Mays. I've been a traveling companion with Ulrich Oakenhearth here for several years now. We met shortly after the war.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the king's service for quite a lot longer, though.
And as an afterthought, he says, "And the two of you?"
Who, us?
Yeah, gesturing at Belzian and Zippo.
Maybe
I'm Zippo.
Belzian. Yeah, I'm Belzian. I'm just a guy. Belzian, like, there's a weird salute, like, wave thing at the same time.
Zippo's kind of looking out over the city through the view, so he just kind of says it while still looking out over the city. Assuming he can reach it, the window, to look over it? Or would he have to get like a chair or something?
You would be able to see out the window, yeah, because remember there's a balcony, so there's doors.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Zippo would be staring out that way, and he'd say, "I'm Zippo," and then he wouldn't even. He'd kind of wave backwards in like a general direction, and then just keep looking out the window.
And Jarvik is not here because he's not feeling well. He has a case of smoked meats.
I didn't ask. Who are these people, Ulrich?
They are my traveling companions in this mission. So Marius is
More like traveling pets, I see. And he looking idly at Zippo before he turns back to you. Go on.
right. So look, I had a little bit of a what's the word that I want? Expansion of my understanding of my place in the world recently. And I just want to be very clear. We left the pets outside of this building. What are with me are my traveling companions.
All right then. You can do an insight check if you'd like.
Yeah. How's a crit 22 sound?
For the first time in this conversation, there's a little bit of respect behind what he's saying to you.
What is he saying?
So when he said, "All right then."
Oh, sorry. Right. So anyway, my traveling companions and I, we are working. I mean, I don't know really how much you've been paying attention to what's going on beyond the keep here. It's a bit of a mess. I know that unfortunately many of the nobles have been called to service. I know that. There are nations besides our own that existed beyond the walls. So when the wall fell, that's what this little band of merry travelers was sent to do, was to investigate what was beyond the wall, or what is beyond the wall. So we've done that. And we have secured a peace with those other nations. Because, need I remind you, cousin, that we are without any king at this time. So war at our gates would not really be an ideal situation. Now, unfortunately, despite our best efforts, there is another entity, another player in all this, and that is a demon lord named Orcus. Now, obviously, demon lords aren't exactly someone we can make allies with. So we three nations are going to band together and face down this enemy because it is indiscriminate in its desire to destroy. So that's what Marius is coming here for, so that we can begin to really mount the efforts that we need.
He considers this for a minute. He's sitting now at the table. He hasn't invited any of you to sit with him, but he is sitting. He pulled up a chair as soon as he and kind of sat in it. He's not reclined. He's sitting up straight in it, not eating or drinking, just listening from his seat.
So, as it happens, Lichte is pretty ideally situated to be a sort of central location. Or at least, well, less central, more it made the most sense for us to meet here rather than go all the way back to the capital.
Mm-hmm. So you mean to tell me that the whole of Seregen's army is coming through Licht to go east?
Is it the whole TM? I thought it was just like a.
Did we ever get confirmation on that?
Yeah.
You did. You directed
Okay.
that he bring the army.
Okay. Trying to think of how to best phrase that.
And the reason that that's the case is because you found out that Relic needed aid. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
told
No.
him
There
to
was a
bring his
there was
forces.
a. Right. We thought that might be the kind of the word I want. The ground zero for the demon stuff.
But yeah, that is ultimately the thing. Yeah, the army, or enough of it that, as far as Dara is concerned, it may as well be the entire army is going that way.
Right. So I guess Ulrich will, if you're not saying that, Roger, Ulrich will just say, I mean, in so many words, yeah.
Well, it seems I will be seeing my son very soon, which is good to hear, but he's just passing through. I was hoping to be done with this by now. I was hoping that our family would have been selected for the throne by this point. It's been weeks.
Oh, I didn't realize, that that was the purpose of his service.
Oh, Ulrich, you know the game. There is an opening in the kingdom. My son is eligible, and as a requirement, he must serve in the army.
Right, but I mean, you have to serve, right? You actually have to do something.
Well, I'm sure he would be able to serve as king.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way of serving. Of course, then that's not really serving in the army, is it? But I guess we're
Army
getting
needs
into
to be led.
semantics. Sure.
The real king leads from the front.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, Roger. Maze.
So anyway, I would imagine that maybe he needs to see. I mean, I don't know. The whole selection process is a mess. I recognize that, but who knows? Once he sees some actual action, maybe maybe he'll be named king.
You seem to be pretty buddy with Marius. Anything I should know?
Roger, did you tell me that I haven't been considered in active duty because I've been missing?
Yes. I when we were talking in
Right.
the thing,
I
I
knew you
said
withhold.
both that you have not been in active duty because we're not here.
Yeah. And that I shouldn't be
and
talking about succession.
yeah, but also that if we meet up with him, you should consider joining up for active duty if that's your intent. But yeah,
Right.
probably don't mention that to Dara.
Right. Yeah. No, that was my recollection, but I wanted to make sure. Ulrich will say, well, I mean, I've been away and I have not been in service, so I don't think I'm qualified.
That's right.
Well,
You've been outside the kingdom for some time, as you said, drumming up all kinds of allies and trouble.
Yep. I don't know about trouble so much as allies, but
Well, I mean, you arrive in my town and something catches on fire as you arrive.
We actually put that fire out, Zippo will say. And it was caused by a demon gate. By the way, the demons might be here before Marius and them get here. Might want to be ready for that, bud. He's still looking out the window.
Zippo says,
So my
we
lieutenant
were
has
do.
told me.
Yeah. Well, if I might say, Lieutenant Robbins is a good soldier. Does seem like he's a little stretched thin. So, helping when we see trouble in your city is certainly a something that we'd be happy to do, cousin. It's not something that we are bringing the trouble. It's more we assist when we see it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I welcome the help. We're all a bit stretched thin here with Marius's order. Half the guard went with my son. This town can't handle that loss. I hope to find some of the army back here when they pass through. I'm going to be talking to Marius about that. You get the sense that he doesn't really like Marius. You don't need an insight check for that one.
Right.
Damn fool.
Oh, what's he done that's foolish?
Well, he doesn't have any experience leading. He doesn't even have any royal blood to be leading it. Military rule for a week too, as we have someone else take the throne is one thing, but it's been over 2 months.
I mean, what do I know about Marius's qualifications as a military leader?
He was the general of the army.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was
when
the
did we learn this? I thought he was just the captain of the guard for Jane.
No, he's the captain of the guard while he's sitting in Jane, but he's the general of the army. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's just that we don't have, like, the army has not been in active duty because the war is fought. Right. So.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So Roger actually directly served under him at some point, probably.
You didn't directly serve under him, but you were definitely part of his faction. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
In the way that everyone directly served under Eisenhower.
And technically, Amethyst, wasn't religion part of North as well?
I know it was part of Central.
Okay. It's been a couple of years for me too, right? Just double
Right.
checking.
I mean, it seemed like he did a pretty bang up job during the Three Brothers War or the Three Princes War. So,
I mean, yeah, but for whatever reason, Daniel doesn't seem to be impressed by it. His first name, by the way, is Daniel Dara. Daniel Dara.
oh, okay.
Edie.
I mean, but I concede that ruling, leading a military is a different, excuse me, a different color horse than simply leading in a kingdom.
That is indeed the case.
Have you written a letter of concern and complaint to the powers that be?
Several.
Hmm. And did they say anything in response?
Just excuses.
Well, I'm sure that the right choice will be made. And I will be right back there, serving the kingdom once more, stamping out any of those who rise up against our rightful king.
So as he considers this, it is 9:10. I think it's time for our 10-minute. Everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So we will be back in 10 minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. In the meantime, enjoy some tasty tunes. All right, we are back from the break. Thanks for sticking around. We are talking with the Lord of the City, Daniel Dara. We are currently in the keep, and the party was kind of filling him in on their activities. So that being said, so I know Dara has summoned the party to Licht. It seems like he's kind of on an information quest, but with the lull in conversation, is there any questions you'd like to ask the Lord, Ulrich, or others?
Um, bu- 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 bu-
I'm here.
Oh,
Okay.
welcome back.
Hello.
I would say he would ask. I think he'd probably bring up. God, it's so tempting to bring up Wolfgang. Um,
Let's not though. My
Yeah.
entire goal with this interaction is to convince Lord Dar that it's okay for us to hang out in the city for a little while, learn what we need to, and then leave.
Yeah, Ulrich will just simply say, how's how has your health been? I know that this is a stressful time.
I'll be honest, I'm tired. I had no intention of returning to rule in the city when I retired, but here I am, doing my duty.
Well, I hope that you get some rest soon. GM, remind me, if his son comes to be the king,
Mm-hmm.
who rules over Dara or Darnay rather,
Yep, that's a great
or
question.
Licht, not
Licht.
Darnay. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Licht.
Yeah. Um, well, since Dara's only son is his Daniel Jr.,
Right.
he'd either have to um, choose somebody, or if Daniel had somebody in mind as a, obviously, in the meantime, it would be his father.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in your mind, that if Dara had every intention of having his son be the king, that he was fully willing to be back in the Lord. But in this capacity, he's not happy. So you could
Yeah.
call him out on that or not, but ultimately, you kind of can see between the lines of this is kind of going back to just more angst toward Marius.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Ulrich will keep his mouth shut.
Okay.
Uh, aside from saying, well, cousin, it seems we will be here for a time. Is there anything that I can do to ease your burdens?
Well, with the armor coming this way, it seems that instead I have more to do. This town cannot house an army, let alone support one. We are overburdened as it is with those coming in from the ruined towns to the south and west of us. A lot of refugees from Jewel have come this way. Some earlier folks from Newpod, um, and some other villages in the area that have been harassed, or at least were at one point. That's when it started. So our town is at capacity. We have a tent city set up at the west gate on the outside for people who can't even fit in, and they come in while the gates are open and retire back there when the gates are closed.
Right, and
That
is there
explains
any?
why the streets were so busy.
Ah, you noticed.
Thought maybe there was some kind of holiday or festival, but it seems there is no cause for celebration, unfortunately.
We were having some festivities about 8.5 weeks ago, but those ended when we heard the king had fallen. It's the last time we celebrated. Soon after, the wall came down and all hell broke loose.
Well, hopefully we can find some cause for merriment in the soon future. For now, though, um, say an army of demons rolled into the town. How prepared would the city be?
Not well.
Hmm.
As I said, we are at half capacity on our normal guard if we were a normal city, but we are overflowing with people.
Shame you can't trust the refugees and simply put them to work. Solves two problems at once.
Well, some of my guard are just that, but it's a slow process making sure they're trained and vetting them. Though you do raise a good point. Employment is a good motivator, and I do need some manpower. See, if there's this river isn't easily crossed, and there's the bridges. Uh, if the whole army is coming, you know how many heads that is? Is it from my estimate? If it's everyone and if it's the whole of the king's army, it'll probably be several thousand heads that can't pass through these bridges. They won't hold, and then we'll have a town divided.
No need to march them through the town.
Well, that's the bridges. That's the way to cross. Or well, we might need to make something to the north or south of town. That's what I'm thinking. Ferry would take a long time. Maybe impromptu some sort of bridge.
I mean, certainly I think that's going to be something that's needed, and I would imagine that, should you commission such a thing, that's just the kind of thing that forgive me, is it known exactly who the committee is that's selecting the nobles?
As far as from nobility knowledge, it would be kind of a combination of things. There would be claims of the oldest families, based on several different aspects of obscure eligibility.
Sure.
And then it would be based on merit, which is also controversial.
Right.
And then, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say you've got closeness in relation to the last living king. You've got seniority of pedigree, and then you've got merit, which is a whole another can of worms.
So, but I guess
money, which is part of merit but also independent.
Correct.
Right. I mean, the name of, like, is it known that it's the Blue Lanterns, or is it?
No.
Okay, so who has he been writing letters to?
To Marius.
Marius himself, probably.
Yeah, to Marius himself.
So he thinks Marius is going to make the determination for who will be king?
Marius is currently unwilling to abdicate until there is time to have the nobles meet and make a decision on leadership. Since Marius has declared it martial law and wartime because the wall's down and imminent threat and danger, he has basically decreed a cease on that conversation to the chagrin or outright protest of, and you could think of several noble families that would be the case with, others who have gone along with it.
Right, but ultimately, I guess it would be a council of nobles in his mind that makes the determination. So Ulrich would say, and certainly if you were to do that, I imagine that the noble houses would, well, remember that it was you who did this, that helped ensure our ultimate victory. And, of course, little DJ would be fondly looked at as your son.
I suppose another feather wouldn't hurt.
Can even call it macaroni.
I'll need to send another message to Marius. He should have warned me that he's coming. 5 days is not enough time to make a bridge, but I'm gonna have to do my best.
This entire time, Zippo's been looking at the river that's going through Licht as like his main focus. Uh, as he's looking out there, and like whenever their conversation kind of slows down, Zippo's gonna say, "Ulrich, you know this place really well. Is this close to the river with the elementals in it?"
Um, would that be close to that river? Don't.
This is indeed the same river as
Yeah.
that, just much further down.
Yep. So Ulrich would convey that. Yeah, we're just further down, same river, Zippo.
Zippo gets like really excited, and this is like the first time he's turned away from the door because he's never really looked at the river. Just going over it, but giving an overview of it. He kind of looks back at the party. He's like, "Guys, you think Atlan's there?"
Well, I mean that's a good point, and perhaps he is. That Zippo here is keen to make friends, cousin, and as it happens, may have an elemental that might be able to help with that bridge.
Yeah, there was 5 of them last time. They helped us cross the river somewhere up the other way.
I don't know if they can part the waters, but in the absolute worst case, they could help ferry people across.
Or freeze it.
Bridge of ice. Interesting.
Perhaps, but ultimately, it might be. There's not a lot of talk of elemental in the river port of Wanderlust here. So I don't know how lucky you'll be, Zippo, but Zippo, do you have a surname, or is it just Zippo?
It's always just been Zippo. Of the Bronze Clan now, actually, is
That's
like the
right.
rest of it.
He's been Zippo.
Ban Zippo. So Zippo's your last
No,
name?
it's just Zippo.
Oh, sorry, I thought you
can't
were saying
spell
it's just been Zippo.
Oh no, no, Zippo is just it, but he adds on of the Bronze Clan now,
Of the Bronze
and he
Clan.
points at his bronze scales.
Ah, so you're not even from Seregen. You're from Relic.
No, I'm from Seregen. He'll point at the red markings on his arm, like this was the original color I was before we got into the Bronze Clan, and then I joined the Bronze Clan.
So,
Mainly because dragons are awesome, but also because I hate Marius.
it seems this one has more in common with me than I thought. He kind of looks around the room. Tell me, Zippo, is the lands on the other side of the wall everything they said they would be?
I mean, if you know how to put up a fight, yeah. If you're not good at fighting, you probably don't want to go over there.
Wasn't that where Marius is sending our men? My son?
But yeah, we kind of have a mutual agreement right now to fight the demons. But after that, if they can't come to like a mutual agreement, then you probably don't want to go over there. Unless you're like awesome like me, then you can just kill anybody that gets in your way.
Part of our earning the respect involved doing some initiation rites for one of the friendlier clans. Not quite pledging fealty as one might in Seregen, but similar in some respects.
It's kind of a similar concept.
Well, all right. So this has gained you your allies that you spoke of earlier.
Seregen's allies, yes.
We will fight alongside them, not against them.
And what are the lands ripe for the taking, the treasures that untold that were in the stories? Anything like that over there?
She's pretty much just the same as Seregen. Although, a little more death.
A lot more in some areas. And he kind of showed like arms Ulrich. Kind of like, give him a little like elbow nudge.
Yeah. GM, it would be unfair of me not to bring this up, but Ulrich, in addition to I'm sure being a little more pallid, did have as a reminder, an eye color change as a result of his vampirism.
Sure. As far as you can tell, your cousin has not noticed this.
Yep. So, yeah, that's right, Zippo. Lots more death in some areas.
Yeah. I'm just sad I didn't get to, get a Carthol mule.
So, my recommendation, though, cousin, just to be very clear on this, many of the pacts and agreements that we have made ensure that essentially we act in a manner as if the wall still existed in many respects, which is to say, no going over and trying to expand your lands. I mean, seems to me if you're looking to expand borders, you can just simply expand your walls around the encampments outside them.
No, I was not speaking of invasion. Just an old adventurer, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go down to the to Necrata, and Zippo will point in a direction he has because he has no idea what direction it would be from where he's standing. So he'll just point in a random way and be like, "Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go down towards Necrata. They kind of keep well, they're vampires and they kind of feed on humans like we would cows and other animals."
Roger will subtly correct Zippo to southeast.
Zippo was pointing down, so you just.
That's right, in a way. Yeah. Well, I forgot you were an adventurer once upon a time. You've been the ruler of your city for so long. Gosh, you ever talked to any of your old venturing party?
I do not.
It's a shame. I'm sure that even once I hang up this adventure, I'll still keep in touch with these fine gentlemen. Roger and I have a long-standing partnership here, so that's more natural. But
It would be a shame not to.
Indeed.
The quests we've been on, troubled times and fun times.
You guys are killing me.
Not yet.
They didn't make me disarm this time. I can and will stab all of you.
We would miss that.
Yeah. But anyway, cousin, if there is anything that I can do to ease your burdens, just let me know.
So you mentioned another threat to my town that I cannot ignore. Zippo, you mentioned a demon invasion coming.
There's less an invasion, more just 3 of them. I mean, we could probably take on 3 of them, so I'm sure your guys there could, maybe. I don't know. They were kind of struggling with 6 zombies, according to the lieutenant, so. But I'm sure they could fight the demons if we're not here. There's 3 of them. One of them could fly. They kind of used the portal that was eating all the people where the fire started.
Well, if they were using the portal, then they were here in some capacity. And yet, I was unaware of any demons in my borders. The undead reports were concerning, but fortunately they were containable.
We'll keep an eye out for any such things while we're here.
Got any local neighborhood practitioners of the dark arts or anything? Any suspects or people of note?
Well, the amount of people that have come into Licht, I'm sure anything could have made it in. But we'll find them. In the meantime, you can do me a favor. You said, how can you help me? Those demons you mentioned,
Sure.
if you came in through their portal, you'll probably be the best shot at catching and killing them.
All right. That's fair.
We'll kill as many as we can. Any that we find.
Especially snaked ones with many arms.
That seems oddly specific, but sure.
Like a naga?
Yeah, but with lots of arms.
Do me a favor. Make sure that you let Robbins know a full description of these characters that you've mentioned, so we can be on the lookout. I will have you take point on killing these. If these are as formidable of a creature as you say they are, I do not want to lose many men needlessly.
Understood.
And Ulrich, do me a favor.
Here's cousin.
He looks you in the eye and he says, stay out of trouble in my city.
I'm sure that I will, cousin. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Do you?
Ooh.
I can't say that I know what you're speaking about.
Strength in numbers, cousin.
Strength in numbers. Cousin, have I done something to offend you?
If you'd like to do an insight check to see what he's getting at, that's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do I want to risk it? It's once per long rest for that new ability, right?
At day sunrise, you'll get another one.
Yeah.
I mean, I could roll insight.
No, it's okay. I mean, an 18's good. I'm just debating if I want to push it for the two extra points
insight anyway.
or 4 extra points.
I mean, Roger can't do worse than a 23, but 23. That means I rolled badly, but I did roll badly.
Yeah, I'll give this to both of you. He seems to be implying that you shouldn't be wandering around the city on your own.
Okay. Um, yeah, Ulrich will say, I mean, yeah, I suppose I shouldn't take a walk uh, unprotected. I thought, frankly, cousin, that I would be safe in your city, but I understand these are difficult times.
I'm embarrassed that I must ask you such things, but my heart goes out to these people. They have nowhere else to go. Shall I send them away? I cannot. So here I am.
Well, indeed, I commend your compassion and appreciate your concern for my safety.
There is a hint of compassion in it. There is a hint of earnestness. It's not fully there as much as you probably would have liked, but it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. Ulrich feels more comfortable knowing that he wasn't completely called out for killing those guys,
Yeah.
but notes that he'll be more careful.
Well, anything else I can do for you? You have lodging?
We're set up in one of the inns out of town, down the East Gate. Adventurer's Rest seemed like the place for us, you know? Drifter's not really well integrated with the town. Keep trouble outside the walls. That sort of thing.
Hmm. And he kind of scans the group. Says, I trust everything's to your liking. He seems to be looking interestedly at your outfits, and seems satisfied and just asks that question.
Oh, it's nice enough. Not nearly so nice as your own lodgings. But suitable for someone of our station. Save Ulrich, of course, but...
Well, I'd offer you a room, Ulrich, if you take it, but I also understand wanting to stay with your group.
Well, as you say, cousin, strength in numbers.
That I did. Well, y'all come calling if you need me. I certainly will do the same. And I guess we'll all be seeing each other in 5 days at the very least.
Indeed. Well, it is good to see you, cousin, and we'll let you know what luck we have with those demons.
I look forward to some good news. Brendan will see you out now. If you feel free to stay for a little breakfast if you'd like some. None of you had touched any of it. Anybody want anything? He gestures to the pastries and fruits.
Roger will try a pastry.
Belzy needs like one of each.
So, Roger, you take a bite of the pastry. It is sweet with a hint of butter. But you take one bite and you realize that you had eaten quite a bit in Adventurer's Rest earlier, and don't think you could eat much more than that. Belzian, same. Your eyes are bigger than, or your stomach is bigger than, your eyes are bigger than your stomach in this case. You grab a few things to eat, and kind of realize that you're not hungry.
Can I just put the uneaten ones in my pockets?
I won't do anything quite so rude as that, but I'll politely nibble on this as we are escorted out, in a way that's visible to Dara, so we showing that we appreciate his hospitality.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Ulrich, you have no desire to eat. You're still quite satiated at the moment.
Yeah. Ulrich doesn't try. Just explains if questioned or looked at. Just big breakfast.
All right. And you're escorted from the keep around and through the main gate.
As soon as we're outside the main gate, Zippo will very excitedly open up his bag, go down and grab one of the Atlan gems, and then run back up, close the bag, and start heading towards the river.
Wowee, Ulrich, that was your cousin? I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes I'm happy I'm an orphan because I don't know, that seems a little tense dealing with.
No, the tents are
Family.
outside the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, look, I mean, cousin's a strong term. It's not like he's my uncle's son or anything like that. It's just anyway. It's tense because he wants DJ to be king, and I'm a threat. So that's a lot of the tension right there.
How royal. A royal pain in the butt.
All right. So what does the party want to do from here? It's still morning.
Well, sounds like we're heading towards the river, following Zippo.
Okay, if you're following Zippo, that's fair. Zippo wasn't waiting for you, so I wasn't sure if that was happening.
There might be barns down there that we have to save.
All right. So Zippo, you rush off to the river. I'm assuming you're at the main bridge there.
Yeah, it'd be the closest spot he would think of.
Okay.
As soon as he got there, he would dunk his head and the gem underwater, and in Aquan, he'd be like, "Hello, friends. How are you all doing today?" As loud as he possibly could.
Okay. Are you going to make any check with that, or are you just kind of calling out?
Just kind of calling out.
Okay. You don't hear an Aquan response at all.
He'll come back up and be like, "Huh, they must be still asleep. It is kind of early." He will note down to check later. But also, while he was in his bag, he remembered the shattered amulet of storms, and knowing that Wolfgang and/or somebody in the Adventurer's Rest was pretty good with fixing things, he will start He'll look at the party and say, "Hey, when we go back to Adventurers Rest later, somebody remind me to see if they can fix my amulet."
We can certainly give you a reminder there.
Thank you. Thank you. And then Zippo will put the gem back, and he will pull out his orb because he hasn't had it for a while in his hands. Like it's been in and out of his bag. He's been, too busy with other things. And while the party's kind of at a standstill for a second, he'll check the orb.
Okay. Looking at the orb, you see that it's been a bit of time since you've really been kind of checking out the orb lately, right? You've been kind of preoccupied by a lot of things.
Yeah.
You notice that the scape around you has changed some. The asteroids in the area have thinned out. Some appear. There seems to be a larger grouping more distant and towards the planet, kind of slowly making their way in that direction. New rocks have kind of shown up in the area, but in thinner clusters and in much smaller sizes.
Okay. Yeah, Zippo will make note of the ones kind of looking like they're slowly coming towards the planet.
Okay.
He's definitely going to think they're space dragons. And in true Zippo fashion, he's going to scream in Draconic, thinking he's talking through the orb. Space dragons, I'm here. I'm ready to be friends with you. I know lots of other dragons. We can be awesome friends and travel through space together. Or the astral sea, I guess is what he would call it. Actually, that would be more what he knew it as, right?
This is the
Or
sidereal plane.
Sidereal plane. Okay, I was thinking astral sea for some reason.
So yeah,
Okay, yeah, he would replace it with that to replace space with sidereal plane.
You've
If
got
that's more of what he would know that is.
You've got the corporeal planes, which are the material and the 4 elemental planes. Then you've got the sidereal plane and the ethereal plane, and then you have the astral plane.
Okay. I was thinking the last one. I think I was thinking something from Baldur's Gate, if I'm being honest.
Gotcha. Yes.
My brain was. I was just playing Baldur's Gate the other day, so just mix it up.
Think of the sidereal plane just from a lore level. This isn't necessarily something you know in character. It's the barrier between the material planes and the astral plane. It's the area in between, right? So the inner versus the outer. So like how we have a solar system and we have the inner solar system, then an asteroid belt, and then the outer solar system. It's like that, except in this case, it seems like the asteroid belt and any other planets that are part of the solar system are part of the material plane, and then other solar systems out there or galaxies or whatever is part of the astral expanse, right? So, yeah.
Gotcha. Then yeah, he would replace. He would say the exact same thing. Actually, he'd scream the exact same thing in Draconic, except he replaced space with sidereal plane. And he's like, I don't think he would have noticed yet that it doesn't transfer through the stone, or at least I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But he would still think it does. Yeah, but he would still think it does, and in hopes that the what he assumes are sidereal plane dragons would come back towards the thing to communicate with him.
You've only seen some armored life forms that were in a craft of some sort, kind of moving about through the asteroids, and that was only once, and that was quite a while ago now. So you do know that there are beings out there, but none of them heard you when you called out to them.
Yeah, Zippo chalked it up to the armored life forms not knowing Draconic.
Mm-hmm.
So he assumes that they've heard him, they just didn't understand him, so they assumed it was just something they were
You
hearing
can assume
that wasn't related to him.
you can assume whatever you'd like. I'm just reminding you on what has happened.
Gotcha.
What that means could be many things, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, but Zippo will continue to do that for a couple of minutes, assuming I'm assuming the party would stop him at some point because he is just screaming in Draconic in the middle of town. But
Hey, buddy,
yeah,
wake up.
Yeah, Zippo come out. Guys, I was trying to talk to the rock-like sidereal plane dragons that are coming towards the planet.
Oh boy, that's so much to unpack.
There's also
I
not a
don't.
lot of room in the city for them, so where would they stay? You know.
We're not telling Gara about whatever that is, right?
No, although, hey, I just want to say, I think of all of us, you got the closest to about blowing it with regards to Wolfgang. We're staying in the Eastern Gate. He looked at us so hard after that.
Okay, I was going to cover for us. I was going to say we may have joined the Questers Guild to become questers to go on quests. It's a different word.
Yeah, right. That would have worked.
Belly just winks.
Anyway, I mean, should we go talk to Lieutenant Robbins and talk about the demons and figure out where the hell the demons are? Maybe.
I think you've already given him a pretty thorough description of the demons on your first meeting with him.
We definitely did, but wasn't sure if we needed to talk more about it since Dara mentioned just providing the info.
We can also, and at this point, I think this is probably a good point to say here, like we've role played some of these elements, we've met these characters, we know what they're about and what their motivations are. So let's kind of talk about overall what actions we're doing in town. So that could be something that we can kind of discuss and kind of plan out this day, right? Because what I'm going to say here is, rather than acting out the next 5 days, I think some of this is going to be what the party is doing to either prep for what's coming next or help what the party is doing to assist, and we can do some roles to assist the town in whatever capacity. If something significant happens, such as another zombie attack or say the demons attack or something like that, we're absolutely going to key into that. But I'm just kind of looking for what types of things the group is going to do in the meantime to either prepare for those eventualities, like, for example, in this case, you're saying, let's tell the lieutenant a description of the demons. Yeah, so let's kind of figure out those things. So
This is our planning and plotting phase.
Correct, yeah.
I do have a question.
Sure.
The demons that we faced in the ruins, were they like super big demons or are they like humanoid-sized demons?
Zippo?
I'm pretty sure they were mostly medium size.
Like, if they were to come into the city just wearing a bunch of robes, do you think they would have been able to get in, kind of thing? Or are they just obviously demon monsters?
Pretty sure one of them was. I think only one of them was bipedal with wings. Might have been two of them, but one of them I know for sure was, on 4 legs. I think I made the comment that he reminded me of like an animal. Could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure.
So if all 3 of those demons stacked on each other and put a trench coat on, they might have been able to sneak in.
But assuming that they're demons, they might have like some kind of shape-shifting or mind diverting power. Like, they might be able to just sneak in and make everybody think they look like somebody else,
Magic.
Well, Roger's got the mold earth cantrip, and I heard that we might need a road. And toughening up the dirt 1 5-foot square at a time might take a while, but we do have 5 days.
And you can cast that every
or
6 seconds, right?
Correct.
And it's that's a cantrip, right?
It is a cantrip. So if we need a road, I can do every part but the bridge.
I would say periodically throughout the 5 days, Zippo will make different trips to the river. Probably after the second day, he'd start going towards to see if the party would go like towards like the part that's outside of the town. If he doesn't get a response, probably like after the second day, he'd probably start trying to go outside of town with the river to see if he can get some kind of response from the water elementals. And he would also definitely look into getting to see if anybody can fix his amulet of storms to see if anybody can get it working in some kind of magic capacity, or maybe even in like a trapping kind of capacity, like how the genie was trapped in it. Maybe I can find the demon and trap the demon in it. Like out of character, think like oddly shaped Pokeball, but in character, just because he knows that it was strong enough to trap the genie with some kind of power.
Okay.
So he would definitely be looking into that. And periodically checking his thing now that he's seen the rocks coming towards the planet, just to see if he could. I know he probably can't see where they land on the planet because of distancing, and his perception ain't that great.
Right.
But he would definitely be seeing if he could maybe figure out if probably looking more for the armored figures he's seen the last time, which was a while ago. But he's kind of hoping to find someone or something similar. Something that he might be able to hopefully identify or speak with, or some out of pocket thing that probably won't ever work, but in Zippo's mind will work.
Okay. I have a few ideas in regards to a few of those things. Excellent. Belzian.
Muted. Belzian, if he had time, would definitely hit up the aforementioned religious structures and just do the meditation / prayer thing.
Mm-hmm.
In seeking guidance, maybe he can cause guidance to come to him.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean that wouldn't take all day. Wonder if it's possible to teach rudimentary martial arts to anyone who will learn in case of the need of self-defense.
To who?
Probably not the guards, because they probably already have some martial skills. But maybe the guards. What if they get disarmed?
Well, you already know one guard has been.
Hey, that's not very nice. You're lucky he's not here to hear that.
It's fair.
He'd probably knock something off a counter.
He might call an army on me.
Check
Right,
his
that's
sleeves.
enough. Calling an audible on myself.
Maybe to like the tent city outside. Maybe like those people need some kind of charity or some like martial arts defense training. They're not going to get much over the course of a couple of days, but it might give them some confidence to not die immediately.
Yeah, maybe train them in the legwork so they can run away faster if they need to.
Yeah, the best fight is the one you don't have to fight.
Okay. We also talked about something in DMs. Did you want to pursue the books in the guild as well?
Yes. So I'm assuming we're staying at the Adventurer's Rest.
Yes.
So he would have some time at the night time.
Oh, I know this is kind of off topic, but I just thought about it. Uh, at the Adventurers Rest, do they like frown upon people offering services to other adventurers? Like if Zippo offers a prestidigitation, cleaning of like armors or whatever for like 5 silvers, would they frown upon that or no?
It depends on what you're looking for. Ultimately,
Just like he would offer it to like the adventurers that look like they just came back, off of like the ones that look like they're busy and don't have a lot of time to do that. And then if no goes on those, or if they do frown upon that, Zippo would if he's out and about, he would just kind of start offering it to the refugees and stuff to hopefully maybe spruce up their life a little bit since they're already having a rough time.
If you're looking to hire folks, you can always post something on the board.
Mhm.
If you're looking to give out charity, I'm sure anyone would gladly take any money you give them.
Oh no! Zippo was just looking for either making money doing the prestidigitation,
Oh, I see.
or yeah, offering the service himself since he knows how to do it, and he remembers trading with the elves that way.
Mhm.
Or if like no goes on that, maybe finding like people that he would kind of feel not like bad for, but more along the lines of like connect with. So like probably people with pets if they still have them, he would offer to prestidigitation stuff for them, or people with kids that would be very friendly with Zippo, he would offer that for them. Because Zippo, as a child, would be bored of tediously going back and forth every once in a while. So I imagine he would stop in the refugee places to just see what kind of people he could meet.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought about it while I was sitting here and I was looking at my spells. So
Zippo has like a shine service.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I will point out that prestidigitation is very small areas of cleaning per 6 rounds, right? So it takes a while to clean everything.
Yeah, it's 1 cubic foot.
Right. So
Yeah, he's more looking at like clothing, I think is what he
Right.
did for the Elven Village.
You did, yeah. You did clothes wash in order to get your armor. It just took you all night. While Belzian was, screaming in agony, you were kind of cleaning in agony, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that would probably be something he'd offer on the last day, the day that I would assume he would be the least busy.
Sure. Okay. Ulrich?
Ulrich's going to focus on demon hunting, and then in terms of any kind of prep, I think he wants to thoughtfully. He'll put a little bit of time in thinking about arguing the case that, hey, I've been serving in just a very different kind of way. I've been a scout for the military. I've been an ambassador. So I heard that I was not up for consideration. And he wants to. So he'll kind of think about how to reward that, hunt for demons, and then he will also, I think, reflecting on the gaffe this morning, consider a little bit about oaths and promises and test that a little bit. He's still in his right mind, having fed, in the last 24 hours. And I think he would toy with the idea on how can he push the need to the relationship he has with promises and oaths into a way that will help him better keep his human side, if that makes sense.
I think I'm seeing what you're saying. So you're knowing that there's a magical obligation of the O's, and knowing that you, with that whiplash of realizing that for a moment, you lost yourself yesterday. I think you're now aware that this is not just a symbiosis like you originally thought. There's something that's driving you, and you felt a little bit less in control. So is that the case? Is that what your character?
Yeah, and I think that Ulrich is in particular, kind of mindful of this because he is a paladin, and he specifically has an oath tenets that he would follow as a paladin.
Yes,
that he lives by.
I mean, you could just re-swear your paladin tenets once more as a vampire.
Yes, and he was thinking about that, but re-swearing those, as I will post them, may not necessarily help. It certainly helps with some of his goals, but not necessarily with the humanity side of his goals.
Well,
yeah.
This is. I mean, it sounds like a what would Ulrich do?
Yeah. No. I agree, and I think Ulrich is considering that, and maybe would need to find a. So this is during this time would reflect on how does he marry the tenets of conquest, which arguably are more on the vampiric side, versus his desire to keep safe the people of Seregen.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think part of you is probably going to have an urge of caution, knowing what you know about how rigid Zichter was on oaths that he made to the party, and what the consequences of not meeting those oaths were.
Right.
You get the sense that if you go too far down that route, you might paint yourself into a corner that is basically suicide, right?
Right.
You either die one way or the other. So I think there is something inside of you that's kind of giving you a sense of caution about experimenting with this, which probably part of you is also like, well, maybe then I should experiment, right?
Right. I mean, that's kind of the thing, because Ulrich has asked Roger to make sure that if he slips into true monster, or into becoming truly a monster, that Roger take care of him. But there's always the chance that Roger can't successfully do that.
Which you've also said out loud to him, yes.
Yes, jokingly, of course. But
I don't know. Listening back, it didn't sound joking. It said it sounded a little earnest in there.
Yeah, no. I'm saying that Ulrich would, of course he was joking to his friend, but deep down there's a part of him that's like, oh, but maybe not.
The joke laced in truth. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
The hoping we don't have to, and that we can say this was not serious later.
Yeah.
So I do think that Ulrich would consider an additional oath or something like that, and that's something that certainly we can discuss more.
Yes. So there's two things in there that so every oath that you've witnessed a vampire swear has been to an individual.
Yeah.
So you know at least that seems to have some importance.
Yep.
And B, I would say make sure that your oath you consider like you would making a wish with the genie. And I will leave it at that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got screwed on tricksy wording. I'm counting at least 3 times so far, if not 4, because we were able to diffuse the situation with the Baroness.
Yep. No, Ulrich is 100% considering essentially kind of sticking in some respects with the original plan of like, hey, if I become a monster, Roger will take me out. But giving essentially Roger the ability to do that, and that, working with Roger on the verbiage to to essentially swear this oath to Roger.
Yeah.
That, yeah. So that's something that he's playing with. But demon hunting and figuring out how to convince Marius, hey, I am a good soldier and should be considered in the noble.
Drawing up a case for yourself.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Roger, there's one thing I see that's missing from your list. Is that also going on as well?
Sorry, what?
There's one thing that I see missing from the list that we've made for what you're doing. Aside from prepping the road to the river, is there anything else that you're planning on doing in the time?
Yes. I have made a written report of our adventures to take to the flames in more detail than what I was able to convey the first night around.
Okay.
The Roger is going to mull over this a little bit in light of the past 24 hours events before he actually hands it in.
Okay.
So it may not be the thing that I do the very first day.
Okay, so let us start this off then, since we have about a half an hour left. I'm going to talk about the events of what happened today. So I've got kind of an overall idea of what the party wants to do for the next 5 or so days, give or take, or at least a couple days. I see a few activities in here that might take less time than that, and we might need to regroup and find other tasks to do or whatnot. But ultimately, I have at least enough for the first 24 hours. I'll start with Roger, since Roger provided the first bit of information. Roger, I think you probably would take a portion of the day to scout areas to the north and south of the city for a viable spot to make a road and place for a bridge. Is that kind of what you kind of in keeping with what you were thinking?
Yeah, place for the bridge is the big part because the road can hew pretty close to the city walls if need be, but the bridge can only exist where the bridge can exist.
Okay.
Right. So we want to make the road as straight as possible because that minimizes my effort.
For sure. One thing you notice is that the boats the dock seems to be fashioned in town for boats coming in through the north and leaving back through the north, though more recently you've seen that ships have started traveling to the south now, presumably because the flooding has raised the levels of the swamp, and it's now opened up water entry to other parts of the kingdom that weren't able to be accessed before from this river. So that being said, there is much more traffic on the north side of town than the south side of town for boats.
That's probably good for us.
So, if you're reporting to the Flames tomorrow, then I'll forego any activity there. So I think, um, is there, so are you thinking that the south would be better or the north would be better for a spot for the bridge based on that information?
The south. For a variety of reasons. The biggest being that we're not going to disrupt any of the current trade that Licht cares about, but also if new trade opportunities are going to happen towards the south, we can maybe more easily justify new construction to Dara.
For sure. All right, so
and we can build it with docks in mind.
That's true. Yeah, could kind of build up the entire waterway. I'd like you to roll a couple checks. I think one thing to think about is, and this will probably be a perception to try and see if you can find a viable spot. But just tell me what types of things you're looking for when you're making this perception check in the south.
For where a bridge could go,
Yeah.
I'm looking for steady ground.
Okay.
I'm looking for rocks. I don't know if this river has a floodplain, but we would want an area that is narrower, so that a bridge can be built more cheaply and higher up. Any little rise would help, because if we are to have ships coming through here eventually, they'll need to go under it.
Okay.
And some soft ground and stuff like that can be fixed temporarily, but long term, mold earth is not going to fix that problem.
Right.
So I want places that are kind of naturally firm, even when it's wet outside, which it is right now.
Sure. Yeah, it is still raining through the day. So going into the south area after you've considered it, you see that a lot of the south area of town, as you can see on the map, has farmland. You decide to go more south of that, giving this town a little bit more of a berth. To not disrupt the farms that might be feeding the people of Seregen, but also because farmland tends to be where the soil is soft, not hard. You continue, and about perhaps half a mile from the town, it gets a bit more craggy, and the river actually kind of cuts into the earth some. So it's a little bit more risen above the river, at least on this bank. The other side of the bank is more of a gentle slope. There is a little bit of a cut into it, and still seems to be fairly firm, but is not as rocky as the side you're on.
Oh, closeness to town is important too.
Yes.
I guess I'll start building the road out to here.
Okay.
And circumventing the much larger set of farms on the north and east side of the towns will probably make Dara happy as well.
Yeah. Plus, now it occurs to you also that Adventure's Rest is on the southeast side of town, so potentially that fallen apart road might be where you can link up to from the other side.
That was the plan. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you spend the rest of your day kind of laying some groundwork for this project, and kind of I assume you're probably using it to kind of mark out the area too, right? You're molding earth to kind of flatten aspects, but also kind of get you an idea of where you need to do what, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like in Minecraft, how I've seen you kind of lay out where you want the road to be, or the wall for that matter. All right. Zippo, you are searching for elementals for the rest of the day. I will cut into that and say once you've looked for a bit, it doesn't seem like elementals are coming to your call. You grow bored of the search and head back to the Adventurer's Rest to see if you can get your Amulet of Storms fixed. After some thought, Wolfgang thinks that he could repair it. He's not sure he can make it magically repaired, although there might be the ability to tie the amulet to one specific creature, and he kind of gets this idea that this could be potentially a way for you to keep Brunhild safe. So like it would be an amulet where during battle you might be able to bring her into the amulet and then like let her out when it's safe to do so.
Zippo would be 100% down for that.
Yeah, after he heard everything that you had to say about the amulet and what you kind of intended in order to use it as a trap, he instead kind of thinks of it as something more of an opportunity to keep your most vulnerable members safe instead. So
Zippo would be 100% excited.
okay. He does say that it's probably there is going to be a cost involved with it. As soft of a spot as he has for Brunhild, there's just going to be a lot of effort involved and whatnot. But he doesn't know the price as of yet. But he asks, is that okay?
Yeah, Zippo's fine with that.
Okay. All right. Awesome idea with the amulet, and I immediately knew what I thought would be something you'd go for, and it solves a long running problem for the campaign. So, all right, Belzian, you have. So the first thing I have here is the religious structures. I think today, a good bit of today is probably going to be spent doing that, right? Or which of the list would you prefer to do today? Religious structures, train self-defense, assist tent
Let's go
city,
down the
or
list.
books in the guild hall.
Let's hit up them temples and
Okay.
meditate in solemn silence.
All right. So you're looking for guidance, you said.
Yes. Belzian has a bit of a rapport with the 12.
Mhm.
They probably don't answer as much as he answers them. But
is there any specific guidance that you're looking for, like on a particular subject? What are you praying to? Is there any god you're praying to, or just the 12 in general? And is there a specific answer you're looking for?
To the 12 in general,
Okay.
Belzian is asking for help seeking the strength to quell a demon invasion. Like, trying to
So
find what he in particular can do to help solve this puzzle.
got it. So guidance in solving the demon invasion. Okay. Give me 3D100 rolls, please.
Ooh. You want them all at the same time, or dramatically one at a time?
One at a time, please. And which church are you going to first?
I believe the one at the north was the one that dealt with like the pairings of the 12.
Yes, the 6.
The 6, because that's not as common as the other ones.
No, it's a much older philosophy. The days of the week are named after the 6. Let's see. And the 6, it's not like their names were these things. It's representing the type of type of theme that the different god pairings were about. So Sendane,
Like, yeah.
Imodane, Anodane, Fordane, Crydane, and Destidane, right?
Right. 56.
56. All right.
19.
So
I feel like-
the second one is when you're praying at the second location. So where is the second location? Are you doing the 12 or Wander?
I'd go north to south because if it's
Okay.
going to take all day, you got to make that circular route to get back
Sure.
in time for dinner.
Yep. Okay.
I feel like I'm announcing lottery numbers here.
So the 19 was at the site of the 12. Okay.
That's the one that's like kind of in the center
Yeah, right here.
of town, isn't it?
Yeah,
This one's the police station.
correct.
What's the little dot there in the middle? A fountain?
That's a fountain. Yeah.
A fountain. Okay.
And then wandering down to Lust.
Not all who wander are lost.
All right, 75. All right, duly noted. So you spend a good portion of the day praying at these temples. The temples are fairly busy with pilgrims. There's a lot of folks that they're caring for. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of people praying, asking for assistance. Some people are working at these churches to kind of assist with this. They seem to have some substantial care programs in place to assist the hungry and the downtrodden. Wanderlust is kind of more of a the church for Wander is kind of more of a facsimile of a temple. It has a small antechamber, like a circular building. I know it looks square in the picture, but that's kind of like the property itself. It's kind of a central circle. And inside is kind of just a representation of Wander himself. It's a male figure, kind of looking out on the horizon, flute in hand.
Very cool.
There doesn't seem to be
Belzian is-
anyone actually caring for this temple, and there doesn't seem to be people that there'll be people that come in and like pay their respects, light a candle, and then move on. But yeah, this one just seems to be cared for by those who come in and out.
Interesting. More like a shrine.
Yeah, more like a shrine.
Belzian thinks fondly of Jordan for a moment and lights a candle and moves on.
Okay, awesome. Doing anything in Adventure's Rest?
Ooh, if it is the end of the day and it's like wind down time, it's time to take a look at that little library.
Okay. You go into the library. Into it's really not a little library, but the back room, right? The Wolfgang's office. Wolfgang is not currently in the office, but Gideon says you can go right back.
Ooh, boy.
So you have the three shelves. The left shelf was stats and figures. The middle shelf was his personal notes on the wall. And the right shelf holds the history of different adventurers, groups, or individuals. Their names are on the outer cover, but not on the spine. So you'll have to pull books in order to see who's who.
Okay. Like Belgian's gonna power research the ladder shelf there,
Okay.
the tales of the adventurers, to see if there's any like correlation or common theme of what led to the demise of most adventurers.
So
Was it overconfidence or a
most of
certain
these,
monster,
go ahead. Sorry.
or was it demons?
So you find that most of these shelves contain current adventurers. Only the bottom shelf, which it's actually two shelves. Only the bottom two shelves are for those who have been deceased, and the shelf above it is for people who have retired from adventuring, so that they can be replaced back up if they ever go out of retirement. So you find that the top 5 or 6 shelves are all current adventurers. For those who have passed away, I mean, you could do a round robin of those 2 shelves to see what the most common thing is, if you'd like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Uh, believe it or not, um, old age.
Old age.
Yep. Most of them have died due to natural causes.
I mean, that's probably a good thing. That seems pretty lucky, but also seems little anticlimactic.
You asked for the most common, so.
Yeah, that is exactly what he was looking for.
Um, anything else you're looking at the shelves?
Well, don't need to know any more about the wall at the moment because it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one was just stats,
Yeah,
like a sports almanac type thing.
yeah, for different adventuring parties and years that the guild has been running and things like that. Like stats from individual books on one shelf would be reflected in the other, right? And with the yeah, so um, you kind of gather that the most interesting thing for you would probably be histories on either retired adventurers who aren't dead that you may know, or current adventuring parties that are in the bookshelf.
Yeah, the retired ones are probably more successful and could prove worthwhile allies if we ever need to call them up.
That's very fair.
So Belzian would look into that.
Okay, roll me a d20.
17.
All right. You pull a book from the shelf. That actually, let me check something real quick. Uh, here we go. So the book says on the front cover, "Morning's Light." It seems to be the name of a group. The book is quite small. It's a thin book, despite the fact that it has a group name on it, and it's also a retired group. So these folks are still alive.
What about the morning's light?
Okay, so you're gonna open the book and look into it.
Yeah.
All right. So the members of the party that are listed. Um, give me 1 second. Okay, so the members of the party, it seems like there's um, uh, a man named Patrick Gilkis, um, a woman named Merida. There's no last name listed, and 2 dogs were the adventuring party.
That just sounds like a cute little family. Interesting last name on the Patrick.
Out of curiosity, does that sound familiar to you, Belzian?
Belzian's last name is also Gilkis.
Yes.
He has no recollection of anyone else in the Gilkis family or having met them. But he knows they exist because he exists.
So, did the monastery tell you what your parents' names were?
I don't think they would have.
I
think they would
I
just be
assume
like,
you
"Who lives
know as much as what the backstory you gave me was, or no?
Yeah, the backstory. Hold on, it's been a couple of years.
Sure.
I don't believe that. Like Belzian knows his surname,
Yeah.
so he knows at some point
Okay.
there was some people.
That's
but
fine. That's enough.
This would be the biggest lead he would have ever gotten.
Yeah. So yeah, Gilkis is the thing that catches your eye. It's your last name.
An unnamed feminine person, unlast named feminine person, and 2 dogs. Maybe Belzian has more brothers than he thought.
So do you read the book?
Oh, of course.
Okay. So basically, it tells the tale of a noble lady from the town of Braid, and basically, she and her significant other created this group. Basically, Merida's family sponsored this group for guild membership to make your line of work more legitimate. You created a group to escort Merida past wolf-infested areas along the road between Ari and Braid. So you basically would escort her, or sorry, not you. Patrick would escort her to and from Braid and Ari. And ultimately, that led to the 2 falling in love. The party consisted of a pair of sheepdogs that Patrick formerly owned before starting the group. And as you know, the guild kind of considers dogs to be full members. And you worked almost exclusive. I'm saying you because you're reading it from Patrick's point of view, right?
Yes.
He worked almost exclusively under Merida until, well, Merida got pregnant. And this was, they were kind of preparing. The story in the book says that they were kind of preparing to elope, and they were siphoning some of her wealth in order to do just that. But she got pregnant before they were financially ready to break away from her family, and it left the couple in a tough spot. She could have the baby openly and be disowned by her family, which would have led her to living the dangerous life of a pauper as a shepherd's wife, though it would be with the man she loves. And it would probably also result in you, her son, not having a stable home to grow up in. Or she could have the baby in secret and leave it with the monks in Ari, and it would give her son a stable upbringing, but would cost her both her son and potentially her relationship. And I think you see where this is going. She ended up choosing Belzian's long-term well-being and split off from Padrick, and he soon retired from the guild back into shepherding, as well as to kind of avoid raising suspicion with the noble family, because neither parent ever knew that Belzian existed, and therefore never sought him out.
Very interesting.
So,
Big
yeah.
Belzy here is going to have a bit of an existential crisis in the back room of the Adventurers Guild.
Yeah, basically, and I can write that out in the summary, but ultimately, it seems like, Belzian is the product of an inconvenient truth.
Global warming.
All right. That being said, Ulrich, I am sorry we did not get to you. But I figure you also have a few things that you'd like to do with Roger anyway. So what we'll do is we'll pick it up next time with your line for the day. But we can also kind of follow up with Yarvik too, so it works out in that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So great work today, folks. I know it was a little bit different of a session. Some role playing, some kind of prep work as we're kind of winding down on our Licht part of the adventure, or maybe winding up. Who knows what will happen in the next 4 days once this day is done. So thanks for joining me, everyone out there in Twitch. We are going to be back in 2 weeks, which will be November 12th. Everyone's good with that, correct?
Unfortunately, I did realize I have a conflict with that date.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will figure it out in the meantime, and go from there.
All right.
All right.
It seemed like a productive session.
Worst comes to worst, we can always do the 19th.
That's the one I'm not available on.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's
If
right.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah. That's right. Well, we'll figure it out. It is the end of the year, so these things do happen. But we will see you all when we see you all. And check the Discord for more info. But thanks for joining us, everyone, and thank you, players, for playing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Anything.